Good evening, one and all. Right, different versions of us. So, as I do with my ego, I view my ego as a separate part to my being. And each of my emotions, I also view almost as a separate entity, a separate part of me. So, as with a rainbow being made up of individual colours, each of my emotions I give an individual colour almost, and although they're separate, they all help make up that rainbow, right? Which is me. So we each have certain hardwired responses to certain events in life, ways of reacting that we learned as children. They served us at some point in our life, and we held on to those, and it became our subconscious pre-designated response to certain events because it served us at some point in our life. Doesn't matter if it no longer does, it's just so ingrained into us that that's the way we respond. So view it like, if someone shows me anger, my previous response would be throw it back at them, get angry. They show me red, I become red. The version of me that is red almost gets selected and allowed to go to work, right? So the way I view it is almost like a train rolling down a pre-designated track, and this train's rolling down a hill, or a ball rolling down a hill. And now that I've learned to almost separate my emotions from myself, I've learned to be able to watch what's happening, and if I'm able to catch myself before the train's left the station, build up too much speed before I'm able to slow it down and stop it, then I can redirect that train down a new track. So, you know, it's about being mindful, it's about catching ourselves and questioning why, right? So if I get angry at an event now, or a person, I know myself, it's my personal issue mirroring onto them, or them mirroring back to me. And it's easy to mirror people, right? So if somebody shows you love, somebody's pink, as I see it in colours, it's easy to mirror back to them that pink. If somebody shows you anger, well, easy. That's probably the easiest one, right? Because, for myself anyway, because it was ingrained in such a way that that was my go-to response, that was my train. And now I ask myself why I've got affected in this way by this event or this person, and why has it happened, what does it show me, how can I benefit and learn from it, and will it affect me in a certain period to come? Will it be affecting me in an hour's time, a day's time, a week's time, a month, even a year's time, right? Until I get to the point where I can say no, it will no longer be affecting me then, so why allow it to affect me now, right? My happiness is far too important to give ownership and power to somebody else, or allow myself to sabotage, because really only I am in control of my happiness, and allowing it to be overtaken and that train to autopilot down that track is losing control of my happiness, my being. By separating myself from the emotion, it helps me to watch it, to be the watcher, and to mindfully disengage from it and almost stop that train leaving that track. Everything must flow. We can't stop that energy. We can't keep the train backed up at the station, because energy must flow, right? Water must flow, it becomes stagnant. So you learn a new response. Somebody gets angry, you learn to respond with love. You send that train down a new track. And in enough time, the grooves, that would be more like a road. So that track will be the auto track, the auto response. Or grooves in a road, grooves in a path most trodden, right? It's easiest to go down the route most trodden. A ball rolling down a hill will end up in the divot which it's made over continuously rolling down that same point. Same thing, same scenario. So each colour being a separate emotion within me, a separate version, goes back to the artwork. So I can choose what colour I apply to my brush daily and what colour I paint myself daily. And the more time I spend in a certain emotion, a certain colour, the more time that will be my base colour. That will be my picture, my artwork of life. So if I mainly have red on my brush, mainly apply red to my canvas with the occasional other colours, red will be the colour of my picture. That will be my baseline emotion. That will be my vibrational existence, right? Because it's all vibration. Behind everything is just vibration. Energy vibrating at various frequencies. That's all it is. But to describe it in colour makes more sense and is easier for me to understand, and I hope is easier for you to understand. That's the reason I'm doing all these videos, right? Because the things I've seen have helped me so much that I owe it to you. I owe it to you to try to help you if I can. And now that I'm mindful, even if that train has left the track and it's roller coasted down, it's smashed through a load of buildings, there'll be a point where I watch it and catch it and I'm aware of it, and I can learn how better to be more mindful of it, why it happened, and learn from it. Everything is there to be learned from. Everything is a teacher. Ajahn, life is a teacher. And a lot of people are unaware that they go from one emotion to the next. They'll be happy one minute, sad the next, angry the next, back to happy, unaware that it's even taken place. And maybe if they are aware, maybe they don't question why, which is why they never know. If you don't know why, you don't know what to do to correct it, right? There's a leak in your ceiling, in your roof. If you know why it's leaking, you fix it. If you don't know why, you can't fix that leak, right? So, and then there's other people who are only too aware that they have separate versions, separate colours in themselves, as I used to be. And within each of us, everything exists in duality, right? Everything has two sides, two halves. And within all of us is yin and yang, light and dark, love and fear, the two main base the two only base emotions. And I have within me the best of us and the worst of the worst. I have the ability to do the most horrific acts of violence and hatred. I do, I know this. As I also have the ability to do the most wonderful acts of kindness and love, as do all of us. We have the ability to go from one extreme to the other. If you can think it, it is potentially possible, right? And the reason that I'm now able to control is not the right word, to redirect that energy, to redirect that train, has to flow. You have to flow down that river. Water has to flow. Stop it, become stagnant, the rest of it again, right? I'm now able to redirect, go down a new path, chosen path, one which leads myself and those around me to greater happiness. And as I said, there'll be people who are only too aware. One minute they'll be happy and jolly and fine in life, and the next minute they want to rip someone's head off, right? I know this to be true. And The reason that they're unable to do anything about it is because they take ownership. They view that as themselves. So that is me. I am that happy and that angry. And even if there's part of me which I don't like, if I was to get rid of that part or lessen that part, it would be lessening me as a person. Same with the ego attachments to self. Even if you're depressed, if you view yourself as depressed, that is your ego version of yourself. To remove you, the depressed version of you, is to remove you as you view yourself. And it's scary. So who am I if I'm not me, which I view myself to be, this depressed version of me, right? So if I'm this angry version of me, I can't get rid of it because that is who I am. That is my ego self. But by disattaching from this, by allowing yourself to step back and realise that a rainbow is made up of many colours, and it's all the colours together which create the rainbow, and what you focus on grows, and the more time you spend applying a certain colour to your brush, the more you will be that colour. You're you, and it's up to you what baseline colour you want to be, what part of the rainbow you want to spend more time in. You will always be you, you'll just be a different version of you, dependent on what you focus and grow on, dependent on what colour, what emotion you spend your time in, and allow to dictate the direction that your train travels, right? So yeah, disattach, separate yourself from it. The rainbow, you're not the rainbow, but you can spend time in each of its colours, and it's your choice which colour you choose. I hope this helps. As always, if I can help any further, please ask, and I'll see what I can do. Namaste, one and all. Have a blissful day.